built up in that territory for NiP, but they're going to be falling off. Here's the duel potentially taking place over towards short, and it's Mixwell falling to Rhyme as the Cypher. Rhyme is an interesting player because when we saw him play early on, he was actually hard-locking Reyna. Not exactly an agent that many players select, and in fact has fallen out completely. We haven't really seen many Reyna picks throughout this.
Repositions towards the shower. That spike, of course, going down, and no brimstone on either team means that the triple smoke on the truck has to feel and look a little different. You see that dark hall and be greeted with a shock dart, so now having to heal back up to full on the opposite side. I believe it's Fearoth now with the swing. Rhyme is going to be the one that takes that frag though, but really trying to hunt down that refrag. Recon Bolt will be taken out as well as the Silva player, and now setting up that dark cover. But Titek, he's on his lonesome, and the swing from Hip will seal the deal there. And it's a round on the board for NiP to start us off on attack.
And also
getting tagged out there and revealed by the Recon Bolt. You see how G2 are playing a little bit more aggressively, trying to get some guns into their hands, and it's Mixwell with a quick shot, and now that Phantom might actually end up in his hands. It's not really going to be the case as he just goes directly over towards Lucker. They'll put that wall up, and it's going to be the execute over towards B, all down to Artis, the last remaining player, and he's really just trapped here, stuck amongst all these cyber cages. Rhyme on the other side will take him down quite handily, but this is where the gun at the bottom left, you'll see Pit whenever it has a look over in his direction. I'll show a little bit of his camera there, but we're missing some of the action. Hip goes soaring through the skies, and a showstopper will find two, opening up the site here for NiP, and it's not looking so good on the gun round for G2, all down to one final player. It is, of course, the Omen Patitek. We saw his gusto earlier on, a round or two ago, and now all by himself. He's got the dragon in his hand, but can he really make fire come out? Down behind the elbow is Kriya, and it's 3 rounds straight here for NiP. A pretty strong start. You know, you win the pistol, you win the round after. Odds are it's difficult.
Well, who's going to be moving in towards short. There's targets right around the corner. How does he handle this one? Swings wide, goes for the Cypher peek, and ends up taking out Rhyme. The shot from the operator is just
blades to come through, and Kriya will put a stop to that immediately. Artis now in the smoke. Got a couple of shark darts, and it's the ghost that he will become, not the one in his hand. As 2 operators on the board for NiP, they are making it difficult for G2 to have any space to play. David P maneuvers his way in, actually into U-Haul, avoiding that Recon Bolt, and they go hunting. Pith, he's gonna find one, and now it's just down to David P. He's got the Sheriff. Likely not going to be able to make anything happen other than finding a very crucial headshot onto the Omen, but still, I think there's 2 operators. He's got to play it the best that he can. Going to be picking up an upgrade. That's the op. Now here comes the peek, and it's Fearoth. And I'll say night-night. See you later, David P.
solid start for NiP.
Able to swing together, trade, wall goes up, slow orb, whatever. But David P playing a little bit closer towards the Tunican, and that's actually exactly where they're coming from. NiP has done this before. They push in through hookah, but it might not be the case for them as they'll start to fall apart. A great angle that Artis had, finds one, looking for the second. The op shot won't work as Artis alongside David P will defend the B site. A great round for them. First one, to be quite honest. And
I think both players could flex between both positions. But he picked up that second op and then promptly dropped it. Because I think they were like, you know what? We don't need 2. We don't need a second op. Let's get rid of it. Then back into position over on the A site. Wow. The tripwire picks off at least the positioning of Kriya. And there's the ult coming in from Artis as well. So Hunter's Mark, or Hunter's Fury, excuse me, picking off one more, bringing things down to now 2. Fearoth with the operator picked up there from Lucker's corpse.
Side of NiP, they haven't quite yet. They're now starting to pack their things, collect it in a nice tidy box. Maybe rotate over towards B, but the res puts another one into the mix. A great cross set up to defend the resurrection of Pith. Now it's just down to Ryan trying to pick up that operator. Or not really sure what he was doing there. Maybe trying to pick up the spike. Yeah, that might be the case. But now Artis, he's waiting for this push. Swing around the corner. And it's business as usual for G2.
Orb coming in to try and slow things down. They're going to continue to push out because of that dart in David P's belly. He's got to move. I love the movement coming out from Hip to try to dodge the shots, but Patitek is there and he's just too quick. It'll come down to now 3 on NiP as G2 continue to play defense, but they're losing control of the site. Now Mixwell has showed up with that operator. Mixwell's going to find 3 on the round. A nice shot to close things out as he drives one through the skull of Firov. 3 straight rounds for G2 since they've been able to afford that big buy in round number 5.
Listen, I get it. NiP was on a eco there. They have pistols. They didn't really have the weaponry to tango. I get it. But it's still impressive that they were able, on the side of G2, to maintain the chaos and keep it within the distance that they were able to keep things competitive. I think that was Hip there with like an actual rifle, and so he would be the only difference maker. That
Dart goes down, not going to connect. The smoke comes in. There's the ult being popped as well. Mixwell's going to move back as far as possible, but in that time, they lose Pit in the sight. Mixwell through the smoke, able to find one more. That's 2 on the round for Mixwell as the op player for G2. The knives come out on the ult, but can't make it work. Artist was only able to get 1 before being taken out of play. Paranoia coming in from Potty Tech, and that will be the way the round goes towards G2. All tied up at 4 apiece. Looked promising in the start for NiP, but it falls apart after Mixwell hits some raunchy shots. First one through the cyber cage, second through the smoke with the tracking dart.
That is some good stuff from Mixwell there. As you can see, NiP, they don't want to go down A for any longer. They don't want to deal with it. David P aggressively, unfortunately, caught throwing that slow ore, but there'll be 2 members from G2 to stop this push further in towards Hookah. It's Artis and Petitek who are ready with the defense. Recon Bolt's going to spot them out. They quickly take care of it, but it's an aggressive push from Firov. He'll face a hail of bullets, and now it's the crossfire set up as Artis reloads. Petitek takes out Kriya, and they're holding on to this defense, but of course, may I remind you, this is NiP on a broken buy, so don't really expect a whole lot. Their goal, of course, is to get this spike, maybe get it down, but a kill onto Artis.
Players here still feel content to go towards the B site. So you've got Sage currently back behind that dark cover in mid, low on HP, and as they go for the swing, it's another kill coming in for G2. Rhyme with a nice shot, though, coming out from the Sheriff. Will reduce the defense down to 2. And able to pick up some guns in there as well. There's lots of firepower currently on the ground, but has to commit towards this B site or give up on the round. Dink shot coming out onto Pit. It's all up to Mixwell on the site, but the clock is a problem. Mixwell misses the shot, has to go to the pistol, 10 HP. The time working against him. Rhyme actually connects through the tuna can. How does that round come together for NiP?
I think it's just proving how powerful NiP could be. You really thought they're on the broken buy. They had a great defense in Hookah. Having a look at some of these clips, it's a great cross. But maybe playing a little bit overzealous. Rhyme finding some pockets of...
He hits that, the round's over. Kriya goes for the ult to get that intel. Spots the one in heaven. Somehow, Mixwell gets away from it, and he wants some redemption here. Quick shot coming out onto Hip. There's more targets coming through from the showers. There it is through the smoke yet again. Mixwell just too quick with the operator. It's now up to Kriya. Stuck behind the cyber cage. 5 players remain for the defense.
Well, okay. That was, of course, the gun round for NiP, but the defense, G2, able to keep them at bay from that A site, and now we're...
Deploying drone.
Artist, the Owl drone's going to give away all that position, but because they could see the trajectory of the drone and the sounds itself, they knew where it came from. They quickly punish with pushing in. Mixwell will connect on that first shot. Kriya tries to go for the TP right in front of him. Mixwell laughs that one off. The spike will be planted, but there's only 1 remaining. Pit managed to take out the last 2 on the round. At least they got the spike plant, but peculiar plays at times that allowed Mixwell to capitalize there. And he'll even get the defuse so he can go for that ult in the next round. Nope, they're going to give it over to the Sage.
Defuse comes through. G2 to start with a 2-round lead. David P with the early look with the operator of all things towards B short. Doesn't really make it work, but Titek also has an operator, and I'm wondering how many operators...
Sage right off the start of the round, so not exactly the way you want to see things go. David P. Right around the corner goes Hip, who's been having a great first half, and he continues in similar fashion. Interesting peek coming out yet again from an Omen. Last time it was Midge. And they're putting some dark covers down over on A, which is causing a rotate out. Artis is currently backed by Spawn, starts to think they might be coming through, and they are. Korea, with a great shot out on the op, allows them to get access to the B site, and NiP with a great look towards B will likely result in success. It's down to 2. It's Pit, and it's going to be Mixwell with that op. Can he do it this time with that operator?
Yeah, this is going to be one going to be pushing in through the elbow, and we'll see if Mixwell manages to anticipate it coming. That's going to be the first shot onto Korea. Now that the Blade Storm comes out, looking for a bit more accuracy for Mixwell. Smoke's going to start to come through, and it's the fake defusal that's coming out first. And now with the Recon Bolt, it might be the bait and switch here as Mixwell tries to find one, tries to find the second shot. They're just not landing. Hip from behind will be the lurker that NiP needed. And now that they've got Mixwell confused, it's a pretty simple round. 6-6 the scoreline. Feels quite telling of these two teams, how close it may be. Having a quick replay look at how Hip was able to make this push in through hookah work. Really no utility needed, just good presence of mind.
Results on this 6-6 scoreline. Mixwell moving in through the showers. They spot one in the backside of sight. Mixwell just charges in with the pistol, but it's going to be Petitek who picks off Furov, finishing that last bit of HP that was left. Mixwell wants to get closer and closer towards the Raze, who actually found 2. Hip with a nade, able to pick up 2 kills somehow, but sight control is lost, and they're actually going to take the port. I love this. There was a rotate coming through, but they were both in spawn, so they're going to get there just in time to try to catch them as they come out through hookah. And you can see the Cypher Rhyme not able to repeat the success we saw from him in that 1v1 with the Sheriff against Mixwell, but their shots going back and forth that results in a 1-on-2. It's Lucker currently on site. They're trying to get that spike down. They haven't yet secured it.
Yeah, and now the peek comes through from Lucker, still trying to use the smoke to his advantage. 1 kill is going to come through, down to Mixwell versus Lucker. Battle of the operators, and Mixwell can very well get this plant down, but on the opposite side, Lucker is going to be laying in wait for that audio cue. And now with that spike starting to come through, all Lucker needs to do is wait for this wall to dissipate. Now Mixwell ready for the peek around the corner, sees the shoulder of Lucker, and oh, baby! It's the pistol that goes over to NiP, and they regain their lead, 7-6.
Winning both pistols here is huge for NiP. Obviously, we saw what they did with it in the first half. Lucker takes a dink shot through the wall. You can see his head kick back.
And he takes him down, sprays him with the Spectre. Fira trying to get into a position to get this spike plant spotted. But now with that confirmation of the timer, Korea trying to get a little bit more involved. The shot with the Spectre actually hits him in the head, but Petitek survives a shot across the cheek. And now David P trying to hold off with Artis from U-Haul. They'll start to funnel on in, but decide to go over the APC, and now Artis will be there to try to stop them from behind. Hip's going to find 1. Hip's going to find 2. Make that 3 on the round. David P, the last one standing. The patience going to work out as he finds Lucker still down to the 1v2. But it's the showstopper to the face that'll give NiP another round, and have to wonder how that force up not really going in their favor, how that'll impact the round.
Towards B coming in from G2. And they're going to be matched against 3 on the defense, which is exactly what we saw from G2 early on their defense. Lucker with the Marshall finding 2. It's already down to 1. It's Petitek, who's got the Stinger, at least able to take out his Omen counterpart. Playing games right now in hookah, upgrading from that SMG to a stronger SMG. The Stinger to the... Not going to spot out Hip, who's playing inside of this dark cover. The wall is going to come in, and oh, that might work out well at first. At least drops the spike, but his position exposed. So the spike doesn't get initially planted. There's actually a gap in that wall as well that they could potentially exploit. Great paranoia coming out from Petitek over in the U-Haul. Korea getting closer to that position. The first shot, they're all coming through the same way we've seen them retake before. Going up over the top of the APC. There's the ult being popped as well. The Hunter's Fury coming out from the Sova. Not going to do any damage.
Wow.
As the defenders win the round, the spike was defused. Somehow they couldn't manage to make it work. And NiP wins the...
He's really felt it all this round, but still he's going to have to back away now as they'll start to flood in. Playing it a little bit close. Operator shot not going to connect. It's Artis. That'll seal his fate, and it's another one in hookah that Mixwell will find, opening up this B-side take. We'll see if G2 commits to it.
I mean, that play from Lucker is like the epitome of overstaying one's welcome. Tries to go through the smoke, and hey, I'm David P, and I'm... I look at that early round, I'm like, okay, goes for the aggressive peek, misses. Goes for the slow orb to try to get out, gets across, takes a lot of damage, heals, puts a wall up, takes more damage, continues to stay aggressive with that AWP playing up. Kind of felt like he should have just moved out of that position eventually. Just surrender that control over, because clearly that was problematic.
Not sure what G2 saw there. Maybe they thought there was a camera up there. Be handed over to Lucker in the round to follow. And G2 can feel a sigh of relief that they are still in this map. Don't want to.
Opportunity to strike, just has to time it perfectly.
Oh, they hear it. Artist. No, Artist, no! I think he had the recon bolt in mind, and now neural theft will make matters even worse. Can't blame Artist for trying to hold on there, and Fearoth winning that op shot against Mixwell is not looking good. The resurrection will come through, but it's a shot that is actually mistimed by Fearoth. On the opposite side, though, it's hit with one, hit with two. The Guardian, he's making it work. Mixwell off to the side, now going to be greeted with the operator from Fearoth, all down to Pith. On his lonesome, 1v4. I think we know how these go. Trying to find some exit frags, but there's too many angles to look at. And it's Kriya from the side, putting us ever so close to this match point for NiP.
So I think the way things went down there with Artis, the Sage slow orb landed at the end of Hookah. So when the doors open, I think he thought it was the doors closing from a short slow orb. Like the Sage was on short and threw an orb through the portal.
They'd really need to work for it. And so far, what they've been trying to execute has worked in some rounds, don't get me wrong. But it seems to be proving to be quite difficult, and NiP is at the helm of making it that difficult. David P, though, throws a wrench into the plan of the defense, walks through the smoke, finds Hip, and now those Hunter's Furies from Fearoth not going to connect with anyone either. Miss Mixwell holding down the angle. Kriya in a great position that I don't think G2 expect, as they expect to for them to come from spawn. And now Mixwell is going to be greeted with the op shot. That's good. Fearoth as well. Just down to one final player. It's David P. But little does he know, a lot of those members are coming in from all possible angles. But that spike is starting to be diffused, or at least getting closer and closer to it. That Sage player is blocked off, and that's great for David P because it gives him time to heal back up. And now playing Tetris. It's the boost up, and oh, I like this play from Lucker. He goes airborne, but doesn't have enough time. Close from NiP, but it's a round on the board for G2. Really did not expect that from Lucker, but Vok, we've seen a lot of really crazy boosts from him.
In general, we've seen some interesting Sage wall placements coming out, especially in regards to retakes on this A site. Had a promising look come in there from NiP. I mean, look at that. 1-2 quick shots coming out. Unfortunate that they were not able to find that 12th round.
Cross as well as with Rhyme. So once they start to push in, it's going to be very difficult. Almost a collateral for Lucker, but he misses them all. It's Rhyme to clean things up. Kriya as well to follow suit. And all down to Artist, and a very weird tripwire that he ends up standing on. And he's going to be revealed by the recon bolt. Tries to swing. The Spectre not going to get the job done. Fearoth will seal the deal on Artist's fate. And now it is match point for NiP. Looking like...
But there's the wall going down and the plant coming in. The question is whether or not the Sova is going to spot the Jet on the back end of this play first. And there's the peek, and it goes the way of Mixwell. The Bucky. Oh, so strong at point blank range.
And now Mixwell will find himself an upgrade. A crucial one for G2 to win. You know, their goal at this point is obviously to get us to overtime. But Hip's got a showstopper. He'll find Pit. And now still the fight continues. That spike ticking down. And it's the classic boost from Lucker. But this time he doesn't really see anyone. Quick shot from him. Artist is going to be the one to fall. But Tidek with the Sheriff will get the job done. But Kriya is also going to continue that fight all down to David P now as his team members are starting to fall all around him. And now with the defuse coming through. That's close, but I think they'll get it done. 0.82 seconds left if G2 just delayed for just a little longer. Stick and flash, and with Breach, you've got tons, right? So Reyna, of course, has a couple on her tool belt as well. But unfortunately, as you push mid, Lucker is going to come in from behind, open up with a headshot onto Artist. Now it's the 4v5 push onto B.
I'm watching here. Delete.
They've got B site controller, so they think. Rhyme is still here in position, able to spot 2 on the push as well. So great defense coming out from NiP to kick things off here in the first half on Ascent. Mixwell right around the corner. Hip makes quick work of him. It's all up to David P. The only kill on the round prevents it from being a flawless pistol victory for NiP. Just a little bit further out of vision, so you don't necessarily look towards it. The dart's going to give away the position of Pit around the corner. Fearoth with the SMG at least drops one more before Mixwell goes on a tear with the Marshall of all things. They're going to hear the jumps up on top of the box from the Sage. It's a free kill coming in for Kriya. Taps on the orb to try and bait Mixwell out of position. Mixwell will start to swing wider and wider and now back behind the box. Walks right over the spike but doesn't pick it up. That's unfortunate as Kriya is there with the final kill on the round. So the aggressive play on Long A initially resulted in some bloodshed, but NiP end up coming out on top. Through the tree room, nice move to shoot out the window to potentially scare them into keeping their eyes on their back. Rhyme from inside hell, able to take out one before falling to David P. Fearoth there with the swing as well from heaven on the Bulldog. It'll work out initially. The wall comes in to try and slow them down, but the wall gets chiseled away by NiP. Lucker tried to go through the window to take the challenge towards short and tree room. Doesn't work out so well for him as Petit Tech is right around the corner. And it'll come down to 2 now on NiP. It'll be Fearoth and Kriya. Over the top of the smoke goes the owl drone, but it doesn't matter. David P sneaks inside that dark cover and will get the last 2 on the round. And G2 strike with the first buy round. I can live without gelato. Cheese, that's like a different one altogether.
Oh, Lucker! Close, but that cigar will not be in his hands. It's another shot here from Fearoth to seal the deal, but as he rotates through, trying to get a little bit more information, it's Mixwell that'll be his demise, as now the door is closed and Mixwell separated from the rest of his team. Fortunately for him, NiP playing a little bit closer towards the defender spawn as things are starting to spiral out of control for them, and the round likely going to G2 once again, and that'll give them the lead, but at least NiP win the pistol, they win the round to follow, but now G2 are officially online and can start their dominance. We'll see how that will carry forward in the rounds to come, but considering how NiP's already saved one round after another, they're giving a lot of respect to G2 on Ascent.
Yet another save coming out from NiP, as again, the round does not go their direction. This time, David P dies before the round's over, whereas last time it felt like we would see some that role swap in the Reyna now coming into play for Hip instead of the Raze. With the way he played as the Raze, I kind of wish he stuck on that role, even though Reyna is a little bit, it'll result in a man advantage early in the round here for G2.
Yeah, they break that tripwire, and now that gives a lot of information over to G2. Kriya, from a distance, will find Patitek. They've already escaped. It's the re-peek now from Hip, as he thinks enough time has passed, but it's the execute for G2. Only person on the site is Rhyme, and he's got a lot of members for G2 starting to funnel in. The headshots, good one after the other. Still one more on the site. Uses the camera. Shot's not going to connect, though, as Pith will be the one that comes out on top, but it's down to the 2v2. An expensive round now for G2, but it is up to NiP to focus on the retake. Resurrection comes in for Artis, so he's back in play as Hip is trying to just ever so slowly move forward through the ice. On the opposite side, of course, it is going to be Kriya that is looking to join. A couple of early shots. The spray's gone onto Artis, and the great repositioning there for Hip to get back into the mix. It's the fake. Another spray is good. It's down to the 1v2, but it's all along David P swinging in from behind. Shot's going to be good now, down to the 1v1, and it's all up to Kriya. Does not want to swing. A pre-fire shot from David P does not net him the frag, but it's Kriya looking to commit. Gets it up to half, but still needs to commit for the second half. And David P's waiting for it, but now here comes the commit. All he needs to do is stick it, but does not have enough time. And it's G2 that win the round. What a close one. NiP almost had that off the back of Hip, but having a look at the replay, Bach, what a round.
I mean, that's actually pretty incredible that that ends up working out for David P. Because if you saw, had Kriya just stuck the spike, there was a...
And he has no clue where any of these G2 members are, so just holding close towards the generator. Sometimes the swing to the right will work out well. The swing to the left does, but it's Mixwell that'll quickly be there for the refrag. Now, up to Hip and Lucker in the 2v4. Resurrection available, so they might be able to get at least Fearoth back into the mix. He's quite close near the garden. And if they are able to get one more res, we'll see if that'll be the case. David P Great lurk from a distance. We'll take out Hip, and now just down to Lucker. First shot with the op not going to connect, and Patetic will just gun and run him down. 2-5 the scoreline. G2 in a starting to be convincing lead.
And they're probably closer to my age, so I imagine that's the case as well. Artist going to kick things off with a kill over in the B site. Rhyme gunned down through the edge of the wall, Hips right around the corner with the Sheriff, but doesn't even need help, or need to help, excuse me, as Fearoth with just a Ghost able to make it work. Piff will peek out and initially make contact with Hip. So it is a one-player advantage for G2 as they continue to move towards B. There's only one here. It's Fearoth with the Ghost. Nice swing as the dink shot was in onto Mixwell. Somehow able to get that operator under control and connect on the headshot.
Now Lucker trying to make something happen for the team. Make some things happen for the team as well. All down to Kriya. The ADS, unfortunately, not going to work out. Patetic there, and another round on the board for G2, really starting to pile up. Of course, NiP was able to boost play, is going to start to come through. It's Lucker that is now going to swing with the op, and it's a shot that's whiffed from both sides twice. And as G2 push forward, they will punish some of that early aggression towards the catwalk and as well the middle. It's 2 now down for NiP, and G2, they're feeling strong.
Somehow Fearoth and Rhyme, though, able to get back into the round. Fearoth as well, playing around on that cyber cage over in B, brings it back. And Mixwell's going to secure the plant in a moment here as the Jet, 40 seconds left on the clock. And there it is.
I'm wondering if in that case, well, I mean, we've got caster vision. There's no way that you know, but they have the Hunter's Fury. You know what I mean? I wonder if you even just blindly check. Okay, are they going to plant towards generator? Are they going to plant towards default? But I think it's actually a little bit more out of the way, planted closer towards the actual door there. But David P will push forward. He's going to find Rhyme. A 4K on the round, and he nods left and right, and it's the English breakfast that gets dunked right on Fearoth there. Another round of
his root character. Yeah. It's like a tree, and he can break a piece of himself off, and has a big shield, moves really slow, can only use a pistol. I personally have the res, but they've got the Hunter's Fury for G2 in a post-plant scenario that could be pretty powerful. Fearoth around the corner with the Sheriff, gets a dink shot, has to follow it up with a shot to the body. Players in this A site, though, being taken out left and right. Lucker using the wall again, this time going up top with the Sheriff. It doesn't work out as well as it has in times with the op. But there's Rhyme hitting one shot, make it 2. Rhyme's been so good. They're going to send Hip into the site as well, and it's now down to 1. It's David P on the other side of the generator as the spike gets secured. Hip, does he get the timing on the shot right? No, David P narrowly wins the round there for G2, and they continue in similar form. We may have seen them lose the first 2 rounds, but it's been all Brits don't like that. David P starting to move up into the tree room. There's a couple of bodies building up on short. Nice flash coming out from Kriya, the Paranoia, but it didn't actually result in David P's demise. It was just a dry peek that came through first, so it kept the trade from being a possibility. Hip's going to chime in with one as well over on the B site, so that'll be Artist who's now on the sideline. Mixwell had the right idea right on the other side of that wire as he goes for it, ends up getting taken out by Kriya. One of the more promising rounds we've seen from NiP in quite some time.
You know, just great holds on some of those dry peaks that G2 were forced to really push forward. And in some of these instances, they were pushing together, and so I anticipated a refrag or a trade, but it just never ended up coming through. And so, excuse me, now it is building up to be a flawless round. Of course, there are still 2 that remain, and they're locked and loaded. Kriya in a very cheeky spot. He's looking for the trade here from the side of Pith. He's going to find it, but still the 1v4 going to be very difficult for him. Around the corner he goes through the door, and Hip will gladly guide him towards the light. Now, the last and final round of the half. Very, very important.
We spoke about this player just a second ago. Gets high on the wall to peek through those grates into the B site, but it doesn't even matter. Artist has got the entries, so they lose everyone on the B site. It's pretty much looking solid right now for G2 until we do see Kriya come through towards mid and get the backstab on one, and a res come through as well from Lucker to bring us back to full strength 3-on-3.
Hunter's Fury is popped, and Kriya now has to get out of a very difficult position. Unfortunately, the TP not going to work out for him. It is starting to look very rough here for NiP. They're looking to push in. One frag will come easy, but there's still a lot more on the money that they need to work through. Fearoth getting a little bit more involved, but has to check his blind spot. And so does Lucker, as Artis will find 4 on the round. 3-9, the scoreline of the first half, and now NiP, they've got their due diligence cut out for them. There's a space for them in my top 5. Yeah.
There's the Rain of Flash to lead them in. The Lear tries to open up the site, and the defense currently crumbling under the pressure as the take comes through from NiP, and it looks fantastic. Mixwell up in heaven, trying to shift past that ice, slowly crawling his way. It's painful even to watch. Does have the dash to get back. Somehow catches Rhyme. Wasn't prepared for the repeat coming in. The smoke's going to go down as well. The Owl drone doesn't do its job as it gets taken out initially. David P has found one. They're making this look easy, but there's a decent crossfire setup working out right now. It's David P in the one-on-one against Fearoth. The dart's going to give away the position. The defuse is in, but he hears the footsteps, so he knows David P has pulled off the spike. David needs to find another big clutch. It's not going to happen today. NiP survive a chaotic pistol round on the A site. Fearoth not going to go for the dunks. Doesn't feel it right now.
Lear as well will push off some of those members a little bit further back. Artis manages to make things work with the classic. Finds 2, cannot find the 3rd, but it's already looking expensive as the attack will start to push in. Spike still not down yet, and the defense, they'll actually fall to the spray of Lucker. Just down to one final player. He's got the shorty, but Patidek won't be able to make that shorty sing. So 5-9. We're getting close. Closer and closer for NiP here, but
answer Lucker gonna find 2 quick kills, goes for the res, punished by David P, who gets all 3. How does this happen time and time again? David P is just a force to be reckoned with right now, and he
decides to back away, knows that Artis is on the opposite side, as well as Pith. Artis finding that last frag, and it's round number 10 for G2, inching ever so close to that match point.
in the corner right now, pushed up aggressively, starts spraying through that cyber cage, can't quite connect. There's targets building up in that territory, and it's the bee-hopping Rhyme who just gets right up in his face. Get that Cypher out of that position. Well, the dark cover comes through from the Omen to make it easier.
Yeah, I was wondering, you don't let... Oh! I was just about to say, you don't... This is the correct call. The only person that is within proximity is, of course, Artis. But look at Mixwell. Unfortunately, the tailwind, wrong direction, stuck on the railing by the stairs. Now, Artis about to see a stampede of NiP members push in towards this B site. Has the angle set here with the operator. First shot's good. The dragon spreads its wings, but they will make quick work of that fallen comrade. Already on the site, it's the 2v3 retake, and here come G2.
They're moving into position for the retake, and yeah, that's pretty much easy as David P does what David P does best. A res coming in at the tail end to bring Patidek back into play. I mean, I guess it's a bit of an econ res there coming out, but 11-5 G2. I mean, this is how it got started. That's just straight stupid. You thought for a second he was safe. Wasn't going to end up being the case. David P in the end pushing through from lane.
Hey, for those of you wondering, Sunday will be the grand final day. David P, come on! David P with 3! Lucker able to Rhyme and Lucker really make quick work of the weapons that they've been given in certain situations. So maybe can expect a couple more frags on the way out, but it's already looking like it's not going to be the case. It's utility galore thrown directly their way. And now NiP have 7 rounds.
Been lost. They had individual performance carry them out. Like, look at that. Mixwell inside that smoke, spotted first by Kriya, and even still ends up winning the 1v1. Like, that just shouldn't be the case. The Cypher ult's going to come out, the Neural Theft to give away positions. David P does what David P likes to do, getting aggressive with that wall. We've seen that from some of the European sages in the past. The smoke's going to come out from the Jet to allow him across. Great team play coming to be the case. So nothing really working out well there. Hip. Oh, the timing goes for the spike pickup. That's a problem. David P comes through B main, drops the spike, and makes the round that much harder for NiP.
Mixwell now, all they really need to do is just hold this spike down. David P and Mixwell, they've got a great cross as the attacker looking for maybe more control of the other side of the map, but at this point it may be just too little too late. All down to one final player. It's Fearoth. He finds David P, but my player to watch, Mixwell, finding the last and final frag for G2 to take us to map number 3.
Mixwell as the Jet offering a bit of assistance and support towards mid.
Already a frag here for David P. And a great start. The unsigned G2 member, David P, now going to be the first contact point once they start to funnel in. That Cypher cage likely not going to last long, but it's the dark cover that'll give David P a little bit more space. Now that he hears some of those ropes come up and down. Oh, David P, so close! And it's just the swing from Fearoth. He will take out David P, and this might open up the push towards A, but already the defense there in place.
You do have Mixwell over towards elbow, and Petit Tech back sight will spot them as they fall off Heaven. The wall comes through just in time as Lucker fell instantaneously with the wall going up. It does come down to a 2-on-2. Spike will get across onto the site. I like the move coming in from Korea, using that port to get into position. Goes for the fight. It's going on for way too long with 4 HP. He decides to go back and stick the Spike. He'll be down to the 1-on-1 with a dart in his stomach trying to move. Wants to just keep it there, and Pitt's going to end up winning that 1v1 in the end. It will be G2 who start off with the pistol round win.
I feel like Pith was a little confused there. He's like, wait, do I defuse it? Like, what do I do here? So, of course, G2.
Towards this A site they go. The flash comes out, and that'll give Petit Tech time to get at least a couple of kills before being traded out by Lucker, who gets dropped by a shot to the back of the skull from the pistol of Mixwell. Mixwell still in position in Heaven with the SMG. Site again lost. So a spike plant coming out from NiP. And let's see what they can do in this post-plant scenario. They do have SMGs, so this was a force round coming in from NiP. And the force has not worked out too well for them thus far. But the double peak, net success, the Stinger and the Spectre go for the swing, and Mixwell taken out of the play for the time being. Nice dink shot coming out as well from the SMG. The Boombot's going to give away the position of one coming towards elbow. The difficult part is how do they handle this? There's a swing just a bit too wide, and now it's down to the 1-on-1. Does Fearoth read this position of the Cypher up in Heaven? And oh, I think he disconnected. We haven't seen Petit Tech move. It's not even the Cypher. It's a... What is going on? Okay, it is. It was just a bug. DC. It's the UI. It's a DC coming in from Pit. I was going to say, it says Petit Tech in the corner, but it's actually Piff as the Cypher. It's getting screwed up because he disconnected.
I wonder if G2 had, if they were able to know that something was wrong, I wonder if they would have tech paused in the middle of a round, but difficult to say. But looking at the round at hand, Mixwell makes it relatively expensive as he will find one for the round, but that judge already out of play. Mixwell, actually, he finds one, but wait, sorry, I think we're looking at a different perspective. My apologies, but Tidek is the one that's sitting there in the corner, and he'll find him. A couple of shots from the opposition, looking to try to take him out as he pushes forward. Rhyme and Korea will continue that gunfight as Artist, the last member, was the last member standing. It is now once again Pith. Gonna be pushing in through the defender spawn. Hopefully the issues don't plague him again, and Korea get that spike down, and that'll be likely another round for NiP, but this time I think a rightfully earned round for the attack.
It's down to 1. It's Pith, the Cypher. Working through from Heaven, there's a target to his left. Oh, it's basically a free kill onto Korea, but does he anticipate Rhyme on the backside of the play? Starts to peek towards Heaven, good damage being dealt. All he has to do is just wait this one out. And you can see how Rhyme is playing it. The camera's going to go down. It's a bait cam. Nice. I like the play from...
Which you're going to be getting throughout the game anyways. So that might be the general idea here, or the general consensus. We are seeing a showstopper of their own. Fearoth, though, he'll be taken out by the Blade Storm. Quick trade of kills, though. And Mixwell trying to hunt down that weapon. But it's been the A push all along for NiP. And they've got full control.
Korea getting up on top of the balcony with the port. You've got the jet coming through with the ult, the Blade Storm. There's the peek coming out from David B, who has to go for the self-heal. He'll start backing off and allow Mixwell to be the one that leads in first. Ugh, the Leer proving to be a bit problematic while that ult pop. Don't want to waste a blade on the Leer. As they go for the peek, Rhyme's there sitting on the other side of ropes, so the round goes the way of NiP. And it all falls onto David P himself. So his heroics in the last map not going to necessarily make a difference. Here as NiP has found the first 3, and this is on the attacking side of Split, which is huge.
Oh. I like the patience from David P. Fortunately for the...
An unknown, I wouldn't say unknown, a misunderstood side effect of that slow orb, being that it affects your jumping. Off of Heaven after putting the wall down, they're going to start making their way out onto the site, and now you can see Mixwell coming into position. The slow orb on spawn puts everything on Pith, who's on the site, hit by the satchel. Doesn't seem to make too much of a difference for him initially. It'll come down to a 2-on-3, and yikes. This is scary if you're on the side of G2. Empress popped by Hip. So the 2-on-3 going to be backed up by the ult. The spike going to be planted with just a few seconds left on the clock, around 10. Mixwell's holding the line of sight, and that did not work out so well for them at all. You thought maybe that Hip's ult would work out for them, but they end up surviving with 4 after the res comes through from David P.
And even if this does end up being a defender-sided affair, bare minimum, NiP were able to put on 3 rounds. 1 unfortunate... Oh, Mixwell, unfortunate shot there. Yeah, but Patitek, he's going to be there. The first contact point through the smoke. Mixwell and Patitek, they'll join forces. And that last and final player, Rhyme, I like the read from him earlier on. It was David P that jumped down below into ropes, and I believe Rhyme hurt.
Tag me, spam me with comments about me. Trust me, it's fine. There's the take on towards the A site. The shot's not where they need to be from Mixwell. Looked like maybe we'd see them crush out that slow orb towards the site. Artist gets 1. Spamming the sign is David P. Doesn't realize how on the money he was with that spam. It all falls down to the last man standing, and Rhyme can't do much. So NiP may have had a flurry of rounds in the beginning, but G2 is... And as the dark cover fades, he's got targets on both sides. Good luck dealing with that one. Oh, this is going to be awkward. The rocket doesn't even get sent, and that's a big problem. That's the spike being on the other side. David P has run completely away from this site. He's gone the exact opposite direction, running all the way over towards A. Gets caught in a tripwire over on the A site. What is happening? Patitek is going to have to watch this, but it's working out nicely. David P has actually read this so incredibly well.
Gonna get in position. Phantom in his hand. Here's the Stampede, and the Wildebeest, they'll swing around the corner, and it's 2 headshots for David P. And a couple of turbo dunks going over towards the attack. Having a quick look at the replay. A great swing there from Fearoth, but oof, rough stuff. And as the rest of the frags come through, it's David P in a masterclass of positioning.
Guys, I was only kidding. Don't be nice to Mitch. He's a nice guy. David P with the peek. Get it fine too. The off peek from Mixwell. He actually connects with the operator as the smoke lands. It's down to now just 1. It's Lucker with the Sheriff. It's not exactly the greatest round coming in from NiP. From both the way they performed and it kicks out. Do they win that in that 1v1? I mean, it was a 2v1 at one point, or even a 3v1, and he just wasn't moving. Lucker, early on with the shot, though, to take out David P. That's a big kill.
Gonna be backing away. Pith playing very aggressively. Doesn't know that on the other side there's 2, and now trying to escape. It's Korea with the Spectre. They'll just find frag after frag and the res as well. Mixley, they'll get that spike down, and Mixwell will be the first point of contact pushing forward.
Promising take coming in from NiP. Looking to grab their 4th round. Mixwell trying to prevent that from being a reality. Mixwell has not only the operator to fall back on, but he also has his ult available. Patitek takes out 1 up in Heaven. Ooh, dangerously close to dispatching of the Sage. A self-heal coming in from Lucker, who's on that operator role. Mixwell on 23 HP. Probably trying to just get out of this at this point. Going to be going back towards Heaven. Lucker's right around the corner. Who wins the fight? It's going to be Lucker. So there's that op duel between Mixwell and Lucker working out for NiP. 4 rounds on the board for them. The money coming in from NiP should be good enough based on the way they've been winning these last couple of rounds. So we should see that full buy, including the operator purchase.
Belt to make things very difficult for G2. So Korea going to spot out the back of sight and actually commit to the plant there, and you'll find Patitek still going to be an opportunity for Artist to send that showstopper in, but he repositions. Great there from Korea, but Pith will still find himself a frag as he will swing that corner. Fearoth with 1, and the action just keeps on coming, but now
if they were to go towards this B site, there'd only be the Cypher here. It's Pith who's trying to get away from that showstopper ult. Times it well, able to drop the Sage as they come around the corner. This rocket, is it going to do damage? No, it's actually going to be Rhyme, who makes quick work of Mixwell. David P now has to be in that hero position. We've seen him have to do this before. He's been in that hero role in the past.
Yeah, but he's got to deal with Rhyme here. And yeah, that's how that goes. David P, he checks the 50.
Now on the other side of that wall that's been put up in mid, and there's a hole in it currently, waiting for that ice to just fade a little bit more. Nice shot from Lucker. As the ice drops, a quick flick comes in from the operator. And again, we see Lucker come out on top of the duel with Mixwell.
Pith now going to be the first line of contact as you'll see them rushing in, but they see him first. Hip and Kriya will open up this B site, and now it's just down to David P and Patitek. They're trying to rush in, try to stop this push forward. The resurrection onto Pith will put him back into the mix, and they'll find Kriya as well, but it's still the 4v3 and an Empress on the opposite side. The blast pack lands right to their toesies. Lucker will take out David P. Still 2 remaining now for G2, but that operator is just way too strong. One more peek will kind of be the money here, but there's just not much Pith I feel like he can do. Fear out swings, a 6-6 half. We talk about a defender side, but I have a feeling that these two teams, they've got some split attack strategies, and let's see what G2's are.
It's come undone, so hopefully it was just tactical indeed and not a technical problem as we find ourselves here moving into the second half. This final round was just all Luckers. I mean, the shots just continued to come out from that operator.
Yeah, Fear, of course, finding that last one, but already we got to put that on pause as G2 are hungry, pushing 5 towards the site. Kriya trying to reposition behind the box. So far, no frags coming his way yet. He may be taken out here as they'll just swarm him. They will have a paranoia of their own. Hip identified once they push in. But a lot of members of G2 in that back of sight. Lucker going to start the push forward. Those shots aren't going to connect. It's the dark cover that'll make it a little bit more difficult, but Pith, he gets athletic and he'll get dealt with immediately. Hip now trying to push with the 2v3 situation. Artist will make it a 3v1. And now all down to Hip. The frenzies are just too difficult to deal with. Somehow Artist will take himself out of the conversation. But it's a round 1 here for G2.
Does that everyone over on A? It's an understandable play, but at this point they're realizing, well, this didn't work. So now what do we do?
And now as they prepare their campsite, hopefully the beans are out. The campfire is stoked, but Pith, he pokes the bear, and you'll find out what the bear is capable of doing. Pith will find 2 pads his stats.
Into empty right now. That's a really passive B-site defense with 3 players up in heaven, so they're just going to go right onto the site. Artist times this one perfectly, and G2 just obliterated that B-side defense play from NiP. They played too passively, gave up too much control to G2, and they said, oh, you're going to give...
Unfortunate stuff here for NiP. The repercussions of losing this round give so much space over to G2. It gives them 9-6. Then a potential pistol coming up ahead gives them a potential 10-6. This is not looking good, but fortunately for Rhyme, he'll find a couple of frags on his way out, which at least make it expensive. So now down to the 1v2, they'll push in, they'll try to tag team him together, but it's unfortunately quite a distance from the side of Pith, and switching to the classic can't get the job done. Artist will finally take out Rhyme, and now...
Throwing you under the bus there with the rank joke, but most people don't realize that there are casters who have covered major events for Counter-Strike, like CSGO majors that were Gold, Nova, and Silver ranked at the time. So rank doesn't mean much when it comes to what we do. We aren't playing the game for a reason. We're talking about it because we suck. Like, that's just the nature of the beast. If we were good, we'd be playing. That's why we're here. It's a 5-on-3 as the entry kills went their direction. Pith with an unexpected operator coming in here from G2, and it works out quite nicely for him, as NiP don't really seem to have a solution. Obviously, the buy coming in from them was less than stellar. It's pistols working out here for NiP, and you can see who it's come down to. It's a Rhyme right around the corner as the neural theft comes through. They all want to go for their hunt. Look how thirsty they are for these eco kills. My goodness. It's like a pub at this point as everyone's going on the hunt. 10 rounds now, and the flawless victory comes through for G2.
I appreciate you coming to my... Not blaming it, but I am climbing, and I'm climbing slowly. So give me some time. I'm not saying I'll be radiant, but I may get up there at some point. So, 2 rounds and 2 kills already for the round. 1 kill for G2, of course, and NiP looking a little bit stronger on their gun round. So we'll see how that nets them maybe a win here, but Pith will even it out to the 3v3 green wall, and it's just Pith with the operator. Gonna probably double back for that spike.
Down to just 2 now on the defense. Hip and the Cypher. Hip goes for the peek, and the Leer ends up working out really well for him. The spike now moving back towards this A site. As the clock ticks down lower and lower, that wall just about to break. The Sage coming through. Does he time this right? Yes, he does. Hip continues to hold that line. Dismisses into that territory to go for a jiggle peek with the dismiss so he can't get shot in case there was an attempted trade coming out. Pit now on the operator in sight with 15 seconds left. Has to dedicate to the plant. The wall's been broken, so there's no safety from TV. You can see the push already comes through. The Cypher up in heaven currently using his cam to try and spy out the location of Pith, who's on the site and now revealed with a dart. And he's going to get spammed through exactly as you'd expect it to end. That round started out promising for G2, but it's turned around by NiP. Great work from them to bring things down to a 2-on-1. A spike just taking forever to get onto that site.
Yeah,
He's got Mixwell. We've seen Jets do this in the past. Dashing past quickly to get into that position. Mixwell going to be moving up further, decides to drop off. Not going to work out so well here. However, they do have a setup that would work nicely for an A pinch because they've got those players in mid. They can try and get on the other side of heaven through rope.
Respectively. But G2, they really want to be a part of this A side push, and Korea waiting in the back corner. It's the showstopper that'll just decimate them all. The explosion is too difficult for G2 to really push forward. Korea will find one. Through the maps, David P will be successful, but does he have enough time to plant? Just barely. And now going to put himself up on a boost. One of the walls has already been broken, or unfortunately just really weirdly placed. David P is kind of scratching his head. Swing around the corner. No way you win the duel against the op. And NiP, they're 2 rounds away from tying us up.
It was on the spike, so you can't put the wall on the spike. That would be a little bit broken. So as it goes up, the wall breaks, and that makes that play that much more difficult.
Favor towards the attack. I think a big portion of it is based off of playstyle. You know, G2 started off on the defense, and they kept it even, 6-6. Now that we're on attack, G2 is in the lead, and they're continuing that lead on a map that's defender-sided on the opposite side. So I just think it's a playstyle differential between these two teams. And when I speak of playstyle differential, I'm going to wait for that clip to go on Reddit as Artis eats a face full of showstopper of his own, and now it's G2 that have control of the A site.
Where is everyone hiding?
It's a 3-on-3 NiP. Or 3-on-4, excuse me. The heal coming through as one was so close to death it looked like they actually were dead. The shots over top of that box just can't quite connect. Putting the Sage down very close to that fatal point, and even with that, David P is still going to manage to drop out the opposing Sage. Pith picking off one as well. This retake's not working out so well at all for NiP. It's down to 1 and 1 only, and on the site, he will fall. Fearoth couldn't get around that wall, a peculiar wall that came up that allowed him to survive that much longer. G2 find their 11th. But T-Tech times it so nicely as they jump across, gonna line them up there with the rifle. It's down to just one left, and it's Rhyme. Not able to do much. NiP, their defense crumbles here yet again. It's 12. Get there fast enough. That's the question. You can see they're kind of leaning in that direction. There's the bomb buddy to lead them in. Oh, the Leer comes out, but no, it gives away his position. As a result, it doesn't actually help. So now it's on the Cypher, who's over in this B site. He's trying to use the one-way. Rhyme goes for the cam shot, and at that point, taken out. It's all up to Korea, and there's a wall down in his path. It's looking like G2 is going to take things here 2-1 over NiP and guarantee their pick in the semifinals on Sunday. And that's exactly what's going to, or on Saturday, excuse me, tomorrow. And that's exactly what's going to happen. Great game coming out from G2.